Hey, welcome to the garage. This is Josh here. Been a couple of days since I was laying the epoxy primer in the paint, and I'd come out yesterday after 24 hours and checked on the condition of the epoxy. It was still a little soft, so I didn't want to start any wet sanding or anything on that epoxy while it was still kind of soft. I didn't want it gumming up the paper and stuff. I'd tried that before with the black epoxy that I'd laid down over a year ago. Came in to try and sand it after one day, and it like gummed up the paper and was sticky, and it wasn't good. So I came out, checked. It was kind of the same way, kind of soft. If I pushed against it with my fingernail, like it wasn't sticking to my hand, but it was leaving a little divot in it. So just let that be. Came out this morning and checked it, and it's looking good. The areas where I was pressing and seeing the fingernail mark before, it's not anymore, and it's looking pretty good. So I had grabbed some new 400 grit sandpaper. Made a run to the store this morning for some materials and using up those wonderful gift cards. But grabbed some 400 grit. And I did a little wet sand test at the front edge of the hood here on the driver's side. And I want to do a little audio test so you can see, like, you may not be able to see the surface texture, but maybe the audio will pick up and you can tell. So hopefully that picked it up. So smooth, so nice. It only took maybe 3 minutes to wet sand from this peak to this edge, and from about here all the way to the front. Like, it went so fast, and it started looking amazing almost immediately. So I'm really hyped up and excited about doing this particular sanding compared to this, sanding filler and the stuff on the cab. That has been kind of a pain. Even on the hoods, just takes a long time. Got to step through all the different grits, wipe everything off in between. It was going real slow. Now I can feel that I'm at a spot where I can actually take off and get going, but I need to hold myself up for just a moment and get my working environment right. So I've still got the transmission that I welded on over here, like sitting where I left it. I'd done that project and I was coughing a bit, and then it developed into full-blown pneumonia, and I didn't finish up and do the surface prep on that thing, or the surface finishing after the welds, and dress that down on the mating surface. So need to move the transmission over by the engine in the other garage so I can get those two mated back together. I got some prep work to do on it and stuff, but I've got boxes to move out of the way. I got a fender laying there. There's like a door panel inside that box. There's tools. There's actually a drive system for my Eastwood bead roller, so I'm really excited about that. I've got these bedsides sitting here kind of eating up sawhorses. Just sanding supplies here, stuff on the floor from paint still. There's powder and chalk all over the ground, so definitely need to get this cleaned up. So I'm going to take about an hour, get that taken care of, and I'll be right back, and we'll actually get going on working on these body panels. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll get going here in just a minute. All right, much better. Got the bedsides lined together where I actually have some gaps to get around it. Everything's now got a path to walk through and around. I've got a large space there behind the bed panel between the door to get to. I've scooted the truck over to the side to make a nice work area on this whole half of the garage now. Instead of being squeezed where the hood was almost touching the cab and I barely had room to walk around the front, now I have room. Got this plastic spread down on the floor to kind of catch some of the drips and stuff as I do the wet sanding on the hood. Trying to keep it a little cleaner. I just temporarily mounted the front fenders on the body just as a, basically, it's a fender stand, you know, make it help with the room here. Actually got the inner fender inside the engine compartment, just kind of sitting there for a second, but I think it looks a lot better in here. I've got room to wheel that like paint hanger cart out of the way, and I have all this walking room to get between the truck now and my toolboxes and stuff. So anyway, I'm a lot happier with this. I don't have that anxious feeling anymore, and with the plastic down, I think it's going to help, because when I had run that first little test area of wet sanding on the front edge of the hood, I'm using the squeegee to clean everything off onto the floor. It really made an awful mess on the floor. So I'm hoping this plastic will catch all of that sanding grit and stuff from the water and keep the garage a little cleaner. But anyway, I'm going to get the cameras set up here, and we'll get started on wet sanding this hood down with some 400 grit. Once I get all the guide coat off, this thing will be ready for top coat, or should be. Make a concerted effort not to sand through any of these corners or edges or anything. I don't want to see any bare metal, because this should be the last step for the hood, that front bed panel, and the tailgate to be ready for those to get into paint. So anyway, I'll set the camera up, and here we go. Okay. Oh yeah. is that smooth. Man, that looks good. I'm gonna grab a chair. There we go. Let's get comfy. Well, that was actually kind of fun. I hadn't done wet sanding like that before. You know, like I said, all this paint stuff is really new to me. But yeah, just the 400 grit on that soft foam sander, and really, I turned it a couple of times to this flap, but I spent most of this area on this centerpiece, and it was cutting still pretty well. I went to this edge to see if it was a little more aggressive, and it was a little bit, but it's still cutting pretty good. So I think when I do that section, I'll keep working that middle piece until it really wears down. But I don't want to be sanding too much with the duller stuff. If I flip it and I notice a significant change, then I'll just leave it that way. But yeah, the trifold for it, you get 3 surfaces, and I've only used one and a little bit of another. So yeah, we'll see how far I can get with that. But I got 2 packages of it, and each package has 5 sheets. Each sheet gets 2 of these trifold pieces, so that should last quite a long time. But I think what I'm going to do here is set up the time lapse, which I've had going since I started. I'm going to swap over and do time lapse for the rest of the hood. This quarter segment took about 15 minutes, so should be somewhere around an hour or so, and the hood, I think, will be sanded down smooth and looking good. I'm glad I put the drop cloth down on here. It's definitely making a mess, but catching it better than just throwing this stuff straight on the floor. So anyway, we'll switch over to some time lapse and keep going on this sanding. I got the passenger side completely done except for just the front section here. But did okay. Sanded through the white primer just a little bit along this upper edge. A couple of little spots. Kind of right on the edge here. Seemed like when I was cutting around that way I got it there. Same kind of thing like right here. It was getting a little thin right there, so I gave that, held off on it, and then right at the edge on that peak there got a little bit. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with it, for my first go around. But man, this thing feels so good. So pretty happy with that. I keep saying pretty happy, but I am. Like, I've never done this type of stuff before, and it seems to be going pretty well. So I'm gonna run inside, grab a bite to eat, say hello to the family for a couple minutes, and then I'll be back out here and finish this other side, and then probably move on to the front bed panel or the tailgate, one or the other. We'll move that over. But yeah, it's about 45 minutes total for all of this. Went a little slower this side than the front half over there did, but really not too bad. And yeah, this is great. I like that a lot better than sanding on body filler. So anyway, I'm gonna run in for a minute and I'll be right back. All right, had a good little meal there. Back out here in the garage, ready to finish up this hood. So just got the whole front edge left, and then the rest of the driver's side. Now, this section, the front portion of the hood, I've already gone over once, so that shouldn't take very long to knock all that part down. So this might go a little quicker than the other side just because I've already gone over a portion of it once. That is looking pretty good. Got all the top side done. All I've got left is just the front lip here. And yeah, not too bad. Had a little scuff through right there. That is a little piece that's like chipped or flaked something. Have a little blemish spot right here. Might be kind of hard to see. There's a few little black spots coming through. That's where a hand did that with my helper when we were carrying the hood in when it was wet. It dried for a couple of hours, but it was still kind of tacky on Sunday, and yeah, got a little messed up when hands rolled over. So I'm trying to just pick it up flat palm from underneath, but oh well. Anyway, I was a lot more cautious with this step than the other side. Took my time, and I didn't have near the burn through on the peaks, you know, like I did on that other side. So skill's getting a little better, and I didn't cause any more issue on the back side. That was what was there when I did it the first go round. Sorry for the weird lines if that's coming through from the LED lights. It's just what I got going on. But anyway, this is really looking pretty good, I think. So I am quite pleased with that. Happy me. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, take the, I don't know, 10 minutes or whatever to knock that front edge down, and then the hood will be good. I'll move that out of the way and grab the next panel up. But it's looking good. Yep, so get the front edge of the hood sanded down, and then I'll move the hood out of the way. I grab the next panel, bring it over. It's about, what, 7:45. So got a bit more time. I think it'll be kind of interesting. I'm glad I practiced these pieces, because there's a lot more embossing, you know, the stamping on those panels. So I'll start off with the large flat areas and then kind of get the detail stuff a little later when I'm not you know, kind of tired like I am today. It's kind of taking a little out of me. All that sanding. So sand for about I don't know, 2 hours give or take today, after having that long wallop with the pneumonia. Then I can definitely feel it. But yeah, got a appropriately nasty mess going on down here, but I think the plastic's doing most of the job I was hoping it would. A little oversplash on the truck there, but yeah, no worries. But I think I'll swap some batteries around, film getting the front of the truck, and then or the front of the hood, and get the panel swapped around and start on the next one. I think that about does it for tonight. I got the whole hood done. Had a little thin spot right here, a little bit there, a little bit on the corner, but I think it's good enough to put paint on and be satisfied with it. So I'm gonna call this done until paint day. Yay! So I had intended on doing the front bed panel and the tailgate tonight as well, but I think probably related to the pneumonia, I'm just running out of steam. So I'm gonna call it for tonight. I'll let this stuff dry up, and I'll come out early tomorrow morning and start swapping some of this stuff around as far as shuffling around in here, making room. Probably slide some things over and work on the panels kind of as they are over there, and set up some more drop cloths or something. But anyway, gonna go inside, have probably a nice decaf coffee or something, you know, sit, relax a little bit, see how tight I get in the morning. I know I'm gonna be kind of sore, but I'm major goal for the day, get this garage picked up and get some sanding done on this hood, and I have done both. So gonna head inside, and I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning. All right, back out here next day. Temperatures dropped a bit, and got a cold rain going on. Just warm enough not to be snow, but pretty close to it. So kind of a gray, wet, dreary day out there. So what better day than to come out here and keep sanding in the garage? Hey, nice and warm in here. So you notice a little extra light going on. I've got a flood lamp plugged in up there for a little better light in this corner, since I don't have any lighting directly overhead. And the nice part is, since it's not LED, hopefully we won't be getting those weird lines that I was seeing from earlier. And I was editing some of the video that I shot yesterday. I put it together last night just a little bit, and yeah, I was seeing all those lines and stuff. So sorry about that. It's just kind of what it is for the camera, like, rate and the lights in here. So sorry about that, doing what I can. But anyway, got the tailgate set up here. I cut down one of my foam soft sanding backer blocks to the width of these recesses and the built up areas instead of that big full pad. So since I'm not really trying to shape everything, just smoothing everything out, this should work out pretty well. But yeah, I got this set up. The plastic that I'd put on the sawhorse as a test to see if it would melt in, that worked out really well. So it didn't have any chemical reactions when I came out this morning from sitting overnight on it, like I'm pretty sure it would have if I just set the still curing epoxy on top of the foam. So I'd learned my lesson before. Looks like it's working out a lot better now. But anyway, I'm gonna quit yapping and get started on sanding on this tailgate. It's a little more intricate, and I expect it to take a little longer than the large area stuff on the hood, but we'll just get going and see how it works out. Just sort of going over everything kind of lightly here at the start, just to knock the rougher, tall peaks down. Trying not to rub through the style peaks on the stampings. Just staying in the middle of the panel. Spray bottle's not working too well. I refilled it a couple of times from the bucket that had the sandpaper in it, so maybe some of this grit gummed it up a little bit. Looks like we're gonna have a few peaks wherever the spot welds were on the this stamping edge where it rolled over, so that's just going to be what it's going to be. figured you'd like to have a look at the first half of the inside of the bed tailgate lettering. So yeah, we've got all these, it's bare metal spots, so all the water that's on there, that's gonna probably make it surface rust there. So I'm gonna have to scuff that again, probably with a Scotch-Brite to knock something off that develops down the road. But on the other side they're all dimples, and on this side they're raised edges, so whatever. Just deal with it as I need to later. Right now I'm just going to smooth everything off. We'll see how bad it corrodes and stuff. I'm going to try and give it a wipe with that pre-painting prep after all this water, and hopefully that will give it enough protection to keep it from flash rusting for the next couple of days until I can get more coating on it. But otherwise, I think it's looking pretty good. And there's a little spot right there. It's real tiny. Got a little bit here that needs some more work. But, yeah, use the reflection there. Seems to be doing pretty good. So, definitely meticulous. I'm going to make a really small sander to get in here. And I'd made the first one about this width, same for the top. It's kind of overhanging a little bit. Up here it got kind of closer to burning through. I left some of the black primer on this upper portion, so this raised side. So it's still protected, it's not bare, but rubbed a little bit. So I'm going to make an even smaller block to fit in here, like really small. Maybe only an inch wide as a little stick. So that'll take a little while to get that inset portion. But I think I'm going to turn this thing around the other way and work on the same raised portion from here over, and then I'll get the recessed spots after that. So let's get this thing turned around and knock out the other half. Well, I got the entire raised portion of the inside of the tailgate sanded down. Did okay. Basically every one of the spot welds poked through. I had one little spot right at the tip of that sharp V that it cut through, but otherwise it's did pretty well. I took my time around the letters on the outside. So I've made this little square sanding block from the foam that's quite a lot smaller than this, so I've got the room to actually do a cross cut inside of this groove, and then maybe go narrower along in some of these, and then some of it I think I'm gonna have to just try and maybe hand sand with my finger in here to get these like really narrow spots. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna be pretty meticulous and take my time with that. So I'm gonna start just on this big recessed loop, and then I'll work my way towards the inner pieces, and then go inside and grab some lunch. But this should carry me out till then. But, yeah, plenty of detailed work here. I wouldn't be surprised if that takes another hour or so. But it looks kind of cool with the speckled, like from the guide coat. I think it looks kind of neat. But anyway, temperature outside has dropped since I ran to the store. I actually got let's see if we can see some flakes coming down. Maybe you can see a few flurries coming down there. It was raining pretty hard, and a moment ago they were gigantic flakes, and now they're kind of trailing off. But winter time's finally arrived. I am missing a few days ago that 65-degree temperature was just glorious, but it's a good day to be inside and doing this sanding. So anyway, I'll get the camera set up and start on the inlay portion. well, here you have it. One letter done. So still got all that to do, but seems to work okay. So I'm gonna keep going, give it all the way to the other side, get this part of it around the edge, everything. I'll get this whole side done, but I don't think we need to keep showing the exact same thing. You see the process I'm going with. Just use the little sanding block on the edge, and you know, be gentle and use lots of water to lubricate the surface. So I think that that'll do it for this one. You know, I'm gonna do the same thing on this the other side. I'll flip it over, attack it again. That other panel here is that's a lot easier actually than the other one, because it doesn't have anything embossed into here. It's just that lip edge, so I should be able to get this one knocked down a lot faster. Plus I can use my large pad for right here and up there, and it should conform around okay for these surfaces, but I don't think that'll be too bad. So I'm gonna knock these two out, and we'll call this a video. And then I think we'll pick up on the next video. We'll be working on the bed sides, doors, front fenders, that kind of stuff, cab. It'll be one of those things. We'll figure out when we get to it. But thank you everyone for watching and being so patient with me while I'm learning how to do this sanding, especially those of you who stuck through the whole video. I'm proud of you. So I'm gonna finish up this sanding here and then get started on the next video this afternoon. Thanks for watching.